News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and now 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
Strip club homicide victim identified. Good morning, everyone. It's Montana Morning. It's Wednesday, September the 3rd, 2014. Skies cloudy. It's downright balmy out there right now. It's 61 degrees. In Missoula, it feels like it's summer again. And our newscast this morning sponsored by Temp-Rite Service. Got all your plumbing and heating needs and air conditioning for a while longer taken care of. Call Team Blue at 728-1111. This morning's top story. The Missoula County Coroner has released the victim's name in Monday morning's fatal shooting in the parking lot of the Fox Club Lounge. Missoula County Sheriff's Office Public Information Officer Paige Pavallone says the victim was from Louisiana.
Captain of Detectives has identified the victim of the homicide as Christopher Michael Heimel. He's a 23-year-old male out of Louisiana. The cause of death was due to a single gunshot wound to the chest, and the manner of death was deemed to be homicide.
Pavallone says the investigation into Heimel's death continues.
The Missoula City Police Department, they're actively investigating the criminal case, and we're referring any people who have questions or have information about that case over to them.
The name of the shooter will not be released until and unless charges are filed against him. The girls' basketball coach at Lone Peak High School in Big Sky has been charged with having sexual relationships with two of his young female players. 22-year-old Kyle Keith Kokot was arrested last Friday on suspicion of 2 counts of sexual intercourse without consent. He appeared in court via video from jail yesterday, where Justice of the Peace Brian Adams set bail at $250,000. Adams calls the charges predatory in nature. Kokot did not enter a plea. A preliminary hearing is set for September 19th. Counselors are available at the school district, where classes begin today and again Thursday and Friday. Kokot has been suspended without pay pending a school board hearing. The Livingston native had been hired to coach the middle school boys and girls, and the high school girls basketball team had worked 2 hours a day as a lunchroom aide. A female Missoula police officer was a victim of a misdemeanor sexual assault while on duty over the Labor Day weekend. Public Information Officer Travis Welsh says the incident occurred in a crowded downtown bar.
It was early Saturday morning, about 1:30 a.m. The officer, along with her partner, were walking through a crowded downtown bar, and one of the patrons, a 23-year-old male, reached out and touched her inappropriately as she walked past. He was escorted outside, placed under arrest, and transported to jail.
23-year-old Zachary Foster appeared in Missoula Justice Court yesterday on a charge of misdemeanor sexual assault. His next court appearance is October 21st. Search crews have located the body of a 19-year-old Montana State University student who went missing while swimming in a lake in southwestern Montana. Madison County Sheriff's Sergeant Phil Fortner said the body of Trevor Ball of Helena was found in Ennis Lake just before 12:30 p.m. Tuesday. He died of accidental drowning. Missoula emergency crews responded to the scene of an apartment complex under construction after a worker fell 4 stories and landed at the bottom of an elevator shaft. Battalion Chief with Missoula City Fire, Steve Paskey, says the call came in about 1:15 Tuesday afternoon from a construction site at Mount and 14th.
Apparently what the crews found out when they got there, the gentleman had fallen about 35 to 40 feet down into the elevator shaft. When they got there, the patient was still conscious and alert, just really complaining of just left side pain.
Paskey said the injured man was conscious and able to communicate with rescue crews when they arrived.
They were able to get him out of the shaft. Actually, it sounded like he had self-extricated out of the shaft and was up on the floor, so they were just able to package him up from there and take him to the hospital. Yeah, according to the crews, he was conscious at their arrival and was talking to him and was conscious when they were on scene with him.
NBC Montana reported the 19-year-old accident victim appeared to have a broken leg or kneecap, although that was not confirmed by Battalion Chief Paskey. An Australian mining company has offered to purchase a controlling share of Tintina Resources, the company that proposes a copper mine in central Montana. Sandfire Resources NL has agreed to purchase 80 million shares of Tintina at 20 cents a share for a total of $16 million. Tintina officials say 2 other large shareholders have agreed to that sale. Environmental groups are concerned that a multinational company will be controlling the proposed mine. Stillwater Mining is further scaling back work on a proposed precious metals and copper mine up in Canada. The Billings-based company said yesterday it expects to spend $4 million to $6 million at the Marathon Ontario project in 2014. It had previously said up to $10 million would be spent this year. Spending in future years would drop to an annual range of $1 to $3 million. Stillwater is the only U.S. producer of platinum and palladium and is Montana's largest company by revenue. The search for a missing Stevensville man has been suspended. Now, Ravalli County Sheriff Chris Hoffman has details.
Our efforts to find George Alex Bauman in the area of Ambrose Saddle east of Stevensville have been suspended. Of course, that doesn't mean that we don't continue to look for him. At this point, it's turned into an investigation for a missing person.
Hoffman says search and rescue teams from several agencies descended on the Ambrose Creek area over the Labor Day weekend with dog teams scouring the area.
All told, the amount of mileage that the dog teams put on was roughly 90 miles inside of a 3/4 mile square. And that search extended out into at least 2 miles on all of the drivable roads out of that area. It's quite a road system up there.
Hoffman continues to ask anyone who may have information as to the whereabouts of George Bauman to contact the Ravalli County Sheriff's Office at 363-3033. There is a photograph of Mr. Bauman on our website at newstalkkgvo.com. The relocation of the Region 1 branch of the Forest Service from downtown to Fort Missoula is already underway, according to Forest Service spokeswoman Elizabeth Sloan.
We've cleared out one floor of the government building that we are in right now, which is downtown Missoula, and we've taken over a building out at Fort Missoula next to the Lolo National Forest headquarters. And we will be revamping, revitalizing that building and moving into it eventually over the next 3 years.
Sloan says the move is not to gain more space for the branch's 170 employees.
Actually, less space. We are a shrinking government entity, and probably the biggest reason why is because we will save money from the Forest Service's budget eventually moving into space that we manage.
The Forest Service will save $1.9 million in lease payments every year and expects to pay off the Fort Missoula renovations in about 5 years. Finally, which school in Montana do students want to attend? MSU appears to be the winner of this year's poll from eCollege Finder. The site took into consideration the campuses that had the most undergraduate admissions last year. According to the National Center for Education Statistics database, they located the universities that high schoolers are wanting to attend the most. When it comes to Montana, becoming a Bobcat seems to be the top tier of college desires for most high schoolers. It appears that most students have their sights set on Montana State over U of M, according to that poll. Our News Talk time now, 6:10.
News Talk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Partly cloudy skies today with a chance of a shower or an isolated rumble of thunder. Highs will be below normal with our temperatures right around the 60-degree mark. Winds will be breezy with wind gusts up to 20 miles per hour. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster for KECI 13, your first alert station.